She offered a homeless man $1,000 to pretend to be her boyfriend. He refused. She offered $3,000, and what happened next changed her entire life. The first time I saw him, he was sitting on the cold pavement outside a closed cafe, wrapped in a torn jacket that looked older than my entire wardrobe combined. The evening wind was sharp, and the street lights flickered weakly, as if even they didn't want to witness the kind of life he was living. I wasn't supposed to stop. I wasn't supposed to even look at him. I was supposed to be inside a luxury car on my way home, preparing for another exhausting conversation with my parents about why marrying a billionaire heir was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But instead, I found myself staring at this stranger with dirt on his hands, exhaustion in his eyes, and a quiet dignity in the way he sat, back straight, chin high, even though he had nothing to his name. I don't know what came over me. Maybe rebellion, maybe exhaustion, maybe heartbreak, or maybe the universe wanted to play one of its unusual tricks on me. Whatever it was, I walked toward him, my heels clicking loudly on the pavement. He looked up, startled, maybe because people like me rarely walked toward people like him. For a moment, there was a flicker of fear in his eyes, then confusion, then calm acceptance, as if he already knew I wasn't there to hurt him. "Hi," I said, not sure why my voice sounded gentler than normal. He nodded, but didn't say a word. I took a deep breath, trying to appear confident despite feeling absolutely ridiculous. "I want to ask you something," I said, and I know it'll sound strange. His eyebrows furrowed, but he waited silent. "I'll give you $1,000 if you spend one night with me." The moment the words left my mouth, I regretted every syllable. Not because of what I said, but because of the expression that crossed his face. Pain, disappointment, and a flash of anger. He stood up so fast that I took a step back. "I'm not for sale," he said calmly, but firmly. His voice was deep, steady, and carried more pride than most millionaires I'd met. I froze. No one had ever refused me. Anything. Ever. I lived in a world where people said yes before I even finished speaking. But this man, with nothing but the clothes on his back, rejected me as if my offer meant nothing. I didn't mean it like I started, embarrassed. "You meant it exactly like that," he replied, and I don't blame you. Most people think all homeless people will do anything for money, but I won't sell myself. Not for 1,000. Not for 1,000,000. I stared at him, stunned. His posture, his tone, his pride, it didn't fit the image of a man sleeping on sidewalks. And then everything in me shifted. "I'm sorry," I whispered. He sighed, the tension fading a little. "It's okay. You don't know me." "Let me try again," I said. I need your help. I'll give you $3,000. All you have to do is meet my parents. Just pretend to be someone I'm seeing. That's it. No physical contact, no expectations. Just help me teach them a lesson." He hesitated. I saw the battle in his eyes, pride versus need. He wasn't weak. He wasn't broken. But hunger and cold could wear down even the strongest people. After a long pause, he nodded slowly. "Only if you stop talking like you're doing me a favor. If we do this, we do it respectfully. I'll pretend to be whatever you need, but don't treat me like a prop." A rush of relief washed over me. "Deal." He introduced himself as Adrian. Just Adrian. No last name. I didn't push. I took him to my car, and he sat carefully as if afraid to leave marks on the seat. My heart twisted. I hated that the world made him feel this way. "We're not meeting them tonight," I said. "First, we're cleaning you up." He looked down at himself, then out the window. "You don't have to do all that. I understand the plan. I just have to act presentable." "Adrian," I said softly, "you deserve to be taken care of even if it's just for one day." He looked at me then, really looked at me. His eyes were the color of warm earth, tired but alive. "Okay," he whispered. At the salon, the staff hesitated when they saw him walk in. Their eyes flickered with judgment, something I was all too familiar with. But the moment they noticed my expression, cold, commanding, they immediately shifted into professional mode. Adrian sat quietly as they trimmed his beard, washed months of dust from his hair, cleaned his nails, and helped him into new clothes I bought from the boutique next door. With every minute that passed, his appearance changed. But what struck me the most was that his posture didn't. He didn't shrink. He didn't become arrogant either. He remained exactly who he was, strong, composed, dignified. When he stepped out of the dressing room, I forgot how to breathe. He looked breathtaking, tall, broad-shouldered, sharp jawline, clean hair, Simple black shirt and jeans that fit him perfectly. But it wasn't the makeover. It was the quiet confidence in how he carried himself. I felt my heart stutter. That was the moment I realized my stupid plan might destroy me before it even began. "You look," I whispered. "Different?" he asked. "Human," I said. "Like yourself." A small smile tugged at his lips, the first I'd seen. "Thank you." On the drive home, I learned small pieces of his story, not through questions, but through the way he looked out the window, as if the world outside was a memory he no longer trusted. He used to work in construction, lost his job when the company went bankrupt. His mother died soon after. Grief drowned him. Bills piled up. Life pushed him down faster than he could stand up. And one day he simply had no home left. He told me all this without self-pity. Just facts, just life. "Why didn't you ask anyone for help?" I asked. "Because everyone I knew was already drowning in their own problems," he replied. "And because I didn't. Do you want to owe anyone?" My chest tightened. In a world full of people who begged, borrowed, cheated, and manipulated, I had met a man with nothing. Yet he held on to his pride like it was the last piece of himself he refused to lose. When we reached my parents' house, a mansion glowing with wealth and arrogance, Adrian paused at the gate. "Are you sure about this?" he asked. "I've never been more sure of anything." Inside, my mother's eyes widened in shock when she saw him. My father pretended not to stare, but he did. They expected me to bring home a man with a luxury watch, a family business, and a spotless reputation. Instead, I brought Adrian, clean, handsome, confident, but undeniably different from the suitors they shoved at me. "This is Adrian," I said simply. My mother forced a smile. "And what does he do?" Adrian answered before I could speak. "Right now, I'm rebuilding myself slowly, honestly. It's not glamorous, but it's real." I held my breath. Only Adrian could say something so raw yet powerful and make it sound like an introduction, instead of an apology. My parents exchanged glances, confused. Dinner was tense at first. My father asked sharp questions. My mother made subtle comments. Adrian, on the other hand, stayed calm, answered politely, and showed more class in his honesty than any rich man they ever paraded in front of me. But the moment that changed everything happened when my mother asked the one question I dreaded. "So, Adrian, what made you fall for our daughter?" My heart stopped. We hadn't discussed this part. I glanced at him urgently, ready to jump in, but he spoke first. His eyes fixed on mine. "She sees people," he said quietly. "She doesn't look at what they have or don't have. She looks at who they are. Most people ignore me, pretend I'm invisible. But she talked to me, treated me like I mattered. Even when I rejected her, she apologized. Do you know how rare that is?" Heat spread across my face. My throat tightened. He continued, his voice softer now. "She's kind, even when she tries to hide it. And she's strong, stronger than she realizes. If someone like her wants me in her life, even for a moment, I'd be a fool to say no." Silence fell across the table. My parents didn't know what to say. For the first time, they had no arguments left, no criticism, no comparison. He had spoken with a sincerity that no rich man had ever shown. After dinner, when we stepped outside for air, I finally exhaled. "You didn't have to say all that," I whispered. "It was the truth," he replied. We stood under the dim porch light, and something unspoken hung between us. Something dangerous, something new, something I wasn't prepared for. "Adrian," I said slowly, "this was supposed to be a plan, a lesson, a one-day thing. I know. So why do I feel like I don't want this to end?" He looked at me with those deep, steady eyes that seemed to see right through me. "Because it doesn't have to," he said, softly. My heart raced. The wind was cold, but my skin felt warm. His hand brushed mine, not intentionally, not boldly but lightly, as if asking permission. I didn't pull away. That single touch sent a shiver through me, the kind that felt like the beginning of something life-changing. "You don't know me," he whispered. "Then let me," I replied. He exhaled shakily. "I'm not the kind of man your world accepts." "Then I'll leave that world behind," I said without thinking. He stepped closer, the space between us shrinking into nothing. "Don't say things you don't mean." "I've never meant anything more." He closed his eyes as if the moment was too much. When he opened them, they were full of emotion so raw it almost hurt. "No one has looked at me the way you're looking at me right now," he murmured. "Maybe no one ever saw you properly," I whispered. Something inside him softened. He leaned his forehead against mine gently, tenderly, as if he was afraid to break the moment. "I can't promise you anything," he said. "I don't have a future figured out. I don't have a house. I don't have stability. You have honesty. You have strength. You have a heart that refuses to give up. And you have me if you want me." His breath hitched. The world felt still, silent, waiting. And then he whispered with a trembling voice, "I want you. More than I've wanted anything in a long time." I felt something inside me ignite, hope, desire, love, all mixing into something powerful. We didn't kiss. We didn't need to. The way he held my hands, the way he looked at me, the way my heart beat wildly against my ribs, it was enough. For the first time in my life, I wasn't choosing wealth, status, or approval. I was choosing a man who had nothing but his soul. And somehow, that felt richer than anything I'd ever known. That night when I dropped him off at a small shelter I booked for him, he hesitated before stepping out. "Tomorrow," I said. "Let's talk tomorrow." Not as part of a plan, not as a deal, just as us. He smiled, a real smile, warm and breathtaking. "Tomorrow," he repeated. As he walked away, I realized something. I had tried to teach my parents a lesson, but life had taught me one instead. I didn't need a rich man. I needed a real one, and somehow, by accident or fate, I had found him in the most unexpected place, and I wasn't letting him go.